Black Friday is right around the corner. If you're interested in picking up some Lego sets from Lego.com or the Lego store, we now have information about the specific sales, and we have all the gifts with purchase available for this weekend. So let's dive into that in this video. So before we get too far into things, I do want to go over a couple of things that are carrying over from Insiders Weekend. The first thing to note is that two of the gifts with purchase, the hot cocoa stand and the Mini Knights Castle, will both continue as a gift with purchase on Black Friday weekend all the way through Cyber Monday. For those of you that may not know, the hot cocoa stand is available at a $170, 170 euro, or I think it's 150 British pound spending threshold on any theme, and it's a $250, 250 euro, and I believe 220 British pound threshold for the Mini Knights Castle. So those two are continuing. Now, instead of the Baby Gorilla Encounter gift with purchase, they are replacing it with a Lego playing card set that is available at a $70, 70 euro, and I believe a 60 British pound spending threshold on not any set, but in particular, and I've got the list right here, on Speed Champions, Creator, Duplo, for some reason, Friends, or Fortnite sets. So that is going to be a different gift with purchase. Now, the other and final gift with purchase that is available on Black Friday weekend is for the purchase of the USS Enterprise D. So if you buy that set this weekend, you will get the Type 15 shuttle pod as a gift with purchase. So those are the gifts with purchase for this upcoming weekend, all the way up through, I believe, Cyber Monday. Then there are some deals that are carrying forward, I believe, through this week and weekend that started on Insiders Weekend. So you can go to Lego.com and you can check out those deals in your particular country. The last thing I want to mention is that the list of sales that I have here, I believe, are predominantly for US stores. However, if you're watching from outside the US, know that for Insiders Weekend, the list that we had not only translated pretty strongly to the other countries, like we see Great Britain, other European countries, Mexico, Canada, and others. There were additional sales on top of that. So you want to make sure you're checking out Lego.com when the clock strikes midnight or in the morning, whenever you get up on Black Friday, if you're looking to make purchases. And of course, I do want to emphasize that this is a rumored list, so it may not be 100% spot on. However, this source was spot on for the Insiders Weekend deal. So let's dive into those. There are a number of sets that are on sale starting on Black Friday that are going to be 20%, 30%, 40%, 50%, and even a couple that are going to be 60% off in the spans of a variety of themes, including sets that are retiring at the end of this year and in subsequent years. All right, coming in at the 20% off threshold, we do have one of the Animal Crossing sets, Able Sisters Clothing Shop, and a couple of 3-in-1 sets, the bunny, the typewriter with flowers, and the gray cat. There are a couple of dream sets. You'll notice there are quite a few dream sets available for sale or on sale for Black Friday weekend. At the 20% threshold, it looks like it's Zoe's Time Owl and Mateo's Fire Chameleon. There are a bunch of Duplo sets if you want to check out those sales. I'm not going to go through them all here because there are quite a few other sets, including at the 20% off, the Friends Heart Lake City Sweet Shop, the Travel Boat Adventure, the Horizon Alloy and Varl versus the Shell Walker and Sawtooth, and the Icons Poinsettia. Now these are interesting because they're not retiring until end of next year. So we talked about this in our preview of Black Friday sales, that there were going to be quite a few sets that are retiring in subsequent years, not just this year. And these are some examples of that. The Marvel logo, in case you're wondering, 20% off if you want to pick up that. There is a Ninjago Kai's Elemental Fire Mech, which I think is a pretty interesting set. Star Wars, if you're interested in picking up some of those, a lot of the MIDI scale ships are going to be on sale. This includes the Home One Star Cruiser, 20% off, Kylo Ren's Command Shuttle, 20% off, and the Grogu with Hover Pram, that one's 20% off. Although I will note for the Grogu and Hover Pram, that one I've seen as high as like 40 to 50% off at Amazon.com. So this may not be the best deal for that one. If you're looking at getting some BrickHeads, some of the ones that are retiring at the end of this year, 20 or 30% off include the Potted Groot, Tom and Jerry, Elphaba and Glinda, Monkey D. Luffy from the One Piece line, as well as Buggy the Clown from One Piece. Other sets 30% off include the Creator 3-in-1 Sea Animals, the Botanical Garden Collection Roses, which is actually not retiring until 2027, so that's interesting that we're getting that deal there. A lot of the Advent calendars are on sale at various prices. And over at Friends, there's the Adventure Camp Water Sports. Now, this one's really interesting. The Andrea's Modern Mansion, that's retiring at the end of this year, but it's 30% off. That usually retails for $200 US, so not bad at $140 US if you're looking to pick that one up. And for the Harry Potter line, the Mandrake is going to be on sale 30% off. Icons and Ideas, a number of sets are going to be 30% off, including the Pharrell Williams Over the Moon set. Fountain Garden, the Botanical Collection Wreath. So that's really interesting. That's not retiring until next year, but that's 30% off on Black Friday weekend. The Everyone is Awesome and the Insect Collection and the Viking Village, if you can find some of those in stores or online, those are going to be 30% off. The Magic of Disney is another one 30% off, as is the dinosaur fossils, the T-Rex skull. So that's one that I really enjoyed. I was able to get that one for, I think, 30 or 35% off on Amazon a little bit ago, so I'm not in the market for that one. Over at Mario, 30% off. The Battle with Roy at Peach's Castle, 30% off. Minecraft, the Cherry Blossom Garden, the Ender Dragon, and End Ship. There are some Ninjago sets 30% off, including Zane's Ice Motorcycle, Kai's Dragon Spinjitzu Spinner, and Sora's Dragon Spinjitzu Spinner. So those are going to be 30% off, some small sets there. Speed Champions, the Aston Martin Safety Car, and AMR 23. That's also 30% off, as is the Too Fast, Too Furious Nissan Skyline. So that's one that's not retiring until next year, but that's also 30% off. If you're able to find it, the UCS Razor Crest is going to be 30% off. That's retiring at the end of this year, as is Darth Maul's Sith Infiltrator, and for the Technic line, the Lamborghini Sion, that's usually really expensive. That's going to be 30% off, as is the Peugeot 9x8 24H Le Mans Hybrid Hypercar. So that's your 30% off deals. Now we're going to move on to 40% discounts. Starting with some Animal Crossing sets, it's going to be Isabel's House Visit, Nook's Cranny, and Rosie's House, and then the Fly with Dodo Airlines, all 40% off. Those are sets retiring at the end of this year. Also retiring at the end of this year and 40% off, Brickhead's Wednesday and Enid, The Revenge of the Sith Heroes and Villains, 40% off. In terms of city sets retiring at the end of this year, Robot World Roller Coaster Park, the Jungle Explorer Helicopter at Base Camp, and the F1 Garage and Mercedes AMG and Alpine cars, those are 40% off. In terms of Dreams sets retiring this year, 40% off includes Castle Nocturnia, which Legos had on sale earlier, Z-Blob's Robot and Vehicle Adventure, Mateo and the Z-Blob Action Racing Car, Cooper's Tire Mech, and Zero's Hot Rod Car. Those are 40% off. The Friends line, Heart Lake City Airport and Airplane, and the Beekeeper's House and Flower Garden, 40% off. And I will say that Beekeeper's House has kind of piqued my curiosity. That one I have not seen in our Lego stores for a while, but I've seen it on sale at Amazon for about 35 to 40% off. So similar to this one. Buckbeak is going to be on sale 40% off. For Marvel, the new Captain America construction figure, 40% off. And the looks like Ninjago, the Tournament Battle Arena, which does attach to the Ninjago Tournament Temple City. That one is 40% off, as is the Source Dragon of Motion. That's a really, really cool set. It's over 1,700 pieces, and again, 40% off of that one. The midi-scale Tantive 4, I mentioned that some of those midi-scale ships on sale. That one is 40% off, as are some of the Technic sets, the McLaren Formula E-Team, the Mars Crew Exploration Rover, and the Heavy Cargo Spaceship is 40% off, as is the NASA Apollo Lunar Roving Vehicle. What about 50% off? I can't believe the Legos has some of these sets 50% off, but Captain America and the Red Hulk, Antonio's Animal Sanctuary from the Disney line, the Family Travel Moments, which we all kind of figured was going to be going on a heavy, steep discount at some point, is definitely there. That's retiring at the end of this year. Last year's Lunar New Year sets, 50% off. So if you were looking at those over Insiders Weekend and didn't pick them up, good news, they're actually getting a further discount, 50% off the Trotting Lantern and Good Fortune. In terms of Star Wars dioramas, the Mos Eisley Pod Race Diorama 50% off, as are 2 Wednesday sets, the Wednesday Addams figure and Wednesday Enid's dorm room. Now there are 2 sets that are 60% off Lego stores and Lego.com for Black Friday, and it's going to be one Animal Crossing set, KK's Concert at the Plaza, 60% off, and then one that I think a lot of Star Wars fans can anticipate going on sale significantly, and that is the Crimson Firehawk, the 4+ set, 60% off. So those are the deals. It's a lot of sets. I skipped over some of the Duplo ones, but that's quite a few options if you are interested in picking any of those up at legos.com or Lego stores. Please note that if you are an insiders, you get an additional 5% cash back, essentially through the rewards program, unless you want to save up those points and redeem them for various rewards online. So you can do that as well. Now, a couple other things to keep in mind. There are a lot of sales going on elsewhere. We've mentioned this in our other shopping type videos and sale previews, but Amazon, Walmart, Target here in the United States, and check out any retailers that you have in your country that might have some discounts. For instance, I know that some of these sets that I mentioned here have been on significant discounts at those other retailers, and it might make more sense for you to get those there than it is at the Lego store, even if you include the additional 5% cash back on future purchases if you are a Lego Insiders member. So that's one thing to keep in mind as you go through this. As for us, the ones that really piqued my curiosity, honestly, the Andrea's Modern Mansion at 30% off seems like it's a really good deal. The Friends Beekeeper. I like a lot of the Friends buildings. They do a fantastic job with those. And I don't know if I'm going to actually get those from Lego or Lego.com or if I'm going to get anything at all. But then some of the Creator 3-in-1 sets, those are usually really good price per piece ratio anyway. Plus you get some really useful pieces in your collection to build toward MOC. So those are some that I'm potentially eyeing. I'm not going to get a whole lot because if you notice our last video, our shopping haul from Insiders Weekend, we did get the Avengers Tower, and that kind of was most of the budget for the holiday shopping here in the month of November. So that's what we've got going on. Remember, as a recap, up to 4 gifts with purchase depending on which themes you buy for the $70 threshold playing card set. There is, of course, the Hot Cocoa Stand, the Mini Knights Castle, and the Type 15 Shuttle Pod, exclusively tied, that one, to the USS Enterprise D. And that's going to wrap up our Black Friday deals. I'm curious to hear what you are planning on getting, so put that down in the comments if you're getting anything at all. Also, in the comments down below, put any deals that you are finding from other retailers in case people want to find the best deal possible, because we all know Lego is expensive, and the better the deals, well, the more Lego you're able to get, or the more money you're able to put toward anything else you want. So thanks for watching, and always remember to keep building together.